Good morning, everyone. My name is Basil Khoury. I'm 22 years old, studying computer information system at Bethlehem, Palestine. I was born in Palestine. I'm a social entrepreneur. My first project was inventing a water control system that makes sure this natural resource is not wasted. And I have co-founded two non-profit peace organizations back in the region. The question I've been asked many times in the last few days is, as a Palestinian, am I fasting Ramadan? Well, honestly, I have fasted Ramadan once, just for the experience. But it's funny that people think that all Palestinians are Muslims, when in fact, the largest faith in the world, Christianity, comes from Palestine. And from just near where I was born and raised as a Christian in Bethlehem, Jesus' hometown. My mother is Catholic, and my father is a Greek Orthodox. And if you dig deeper around my family tree, you will find the Jewish root in both families, on both sides. And you will find the stories of what's now called Israel. My mother's family are originally from Haifa, but they had to flee when the Israeli occupation of 1948 started bombing their city, forcing them to leave for Jenin. And they are still waiting for the day when they will return to their homeland, Haifa. Just like many other Palestinian refugees' families, my family believes that our ancestors were Jews. And they are strongly believe that Palestine is their homeland. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is a Palestinian claiming his ancestors are Jews? And you're right, this is strange. I can see Naur is laughing here, that it doesn't make any sense. But in fact, it does. If you have been on the journey that I've been on, and let me share it with you. On a hot June day in 2002, when I was only 12, I traveled with my family to Jenin. At one of the 16 checkpoints we crossed that day, Israeli soldiers stopped the car and asked me to step outside. They told me to stand next to two Palestinian men and strip down my clothes, except for my underwear. I did, while the two men, Palestinian men, the older men, comforted me. We stood under the hot sun for almost 2 hours. Then a soldier struck me in the back with the butt of his M16. I fell, and I gave him a piercing look. But that wasn't the worst part of the trip or the story. A couple of days later, as leaving a grocery store with a friend who was 16, we saw a group of military vehicles approaching our street. Business as usual, we thought, until the bullets from a machine gun mounted on one of the vehicles ripped through my friend's body. He fell dead into my arms. I heard later that he was wanted by the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF. But I'm not sure that democracy would allow the assassination of 16 years old. This experience traumatized me. My family tried to get me out of the ensuing depression, but nothing helped. Until one day at 6 a.m., I heard noises outside the house, then loud kicks on the door. Iftach al-bab, iftach al-bab. My mom opened the door. Two soldiers. She started shouting at them with no hint of fear. It's 6 a.m. and you scare the children. This is not all right. This behavior is unacceptable. The soldier was taken aback, and I saw a hint of fear in his eyes. That experience was very empowering and would guide me in days to come. My family also helped me escape my desire for revenge by telling me our real family's stories and others' stories and histories like ours. But I only learned that because I was able to listen to others people's stories. When you do that, you realize that deep down we are all the same. And creating that connection is much better than using violence that only divides us. But how do we even get to know these stories exist? Stories that connect. The media is always telling the same old stories in the same divisive way. That's why my project is to train 6 young Palestinian journalists how to write their stories and how to cover the political news in both languages, Hebrew and English. It's really important for me that you, as a US citizens, to know more about and connect with Palestine. And also, it's very important for me, for you, the Israeli, my friend now, to know more about and to connect with the Palestinian side. My family in Bethlehem, as I told you, have been Jewish, and they have been Christian, and probably Muslims. And where we lived was once part of the Turkish Empire or the British Mandate, and today it's part of the Israeli occupation. Through all these changes of faith and changes of borders, my people, the Khouries, have endured because of their abiding attachment to the land, the attachment that doesn't let someone else draw a line that divides people from their humanity or one people from another. This is why, despite all the pain and suffering I have endured, I am hopeful. The solution is not in a border or a map, but rather in the territory of a human heart, where in the end, we are all the same. And I repeat, we are all the same. We have the same fears, and we share the same hopes. Everyone deserves a place to call a homeland, a place where a 12 years old, Muslim, Christian, or Jewish, or whatever they believe in, whatever color or creed, just want the freedom to play and the right to grow up into the fullest human beings they can be. I have not lost that hope, and I want you to support us, me and my members, the team members of the NSL, in making it happen. Thank you all for listening. Thank you very much.